Picture this. It's 1995 and you're at home gaming away on the PS1. After having a great time playing Twisted Metal or something, your dad comes back after an extended trip to Venezuela with a box full of games. After he throws the box at your head, you investigate the box and find a cool new fighting game in there. After going to the hospital for head-related trauma from approximately 7 seconds ago, you get home and decide to try out that new game you got, and this is what you see. That's right, we're talking Tekken again. While other YouTubers are covering the soon-to-be-released Tekken 8, I decided to not cover that game at all, and as such, I'll be forcing you to learn about the second game in the series with me. With more characters, moves, stages, and arguably better graphics / animation, Tekken 2 is one of those rare sequels that takes the first game and makes it better overall. Alright, enough dicking around, let's head over to the Sakura schoolyard and get ready to start learning about Tekken 2. Alright everyone, let's properly begin by covering the highly riveting narrative of Tekken 2. Kazuya Mishima, now leading the super evil corporation Mishima Zaibatsu, has gone from being an evil bastard to a completely irredeemable prick, as he's developed a passion for assassinating critics, extorting businesses, and even smuggling endangered animals to perform unethical experiments on them. Ouch. All of this is because Kazuya has what's known as the devil gene inside of him, and his hatred for his father Heihachi Mishima has caused the gene to consume him entirely. While all of this is taking place, animal rights activist Jun Kazama wishes to arrest Kazuya, not only for his crimes against humanity, but also because he's harming these cute little animals. But there's more to this narrative than meets the eye, you see, because Heihachi, who Kazuya threw off a cliff in the previous game in the best video game cutscene of all time, Sorry Kojima, has climbed back up and has started training even harder than he used to. His goal is to challenge Kazuya to another battle and kick the shit out of him, taking back the Mishima Zaibatsu in the process. Kazuya, learning about all this, thinks to himself, you know what, screw it. Since the last tournament went pretty well, let's do another one. But this time, make the prize $1 trillion. With that, the tournament begins, and Jun shows up looking to arrest Kazuya. Time passes, and eventually Jun does run into Kazuya. But something weird happens. Both Kazuya and Jun find themselves drawn together by some unexplainable force. Jun, having a heart of gold, bless her, decides, I don't really want to fight Kazuya, I just want him to stop being evil. Maybe I shouldn't be here? While these two lovebirds are together, Heihachi is going beast mode on the competition, destroying every fighter, even his adopted son Li Chaolan that gets in his way with an iron fist. However, everyone's favorite JoJo reference Paul Phoenix defeats Heihachi in their battle, probably by overwhelming Heihachi's elderly Japanese sensibilities with pure American nationalism. As a result, Paul is guaranteed a fight against Kazuya in the tournament's finals. However, and I promise you that this is true and not a bit I made up for the video, but Paul, on his way to the tournament to fight Kazuya, gets involved in a massive car accident. Due to this, the tournament officials decide to sub in Heihachi as the person who gets to make it to the finals. If you think about it, the entire Tekken lore from Tekken 2 onwards all happened because Paul was driving while scrolling through his Instagram. Going back to Jun and Kazuya for a moment, Jun's pure heart and kind spirit causes Kazuya to have second thoughts about his wicked actions, causing an internal conflict between good and evil. However, Kazuya gives in to his evil side and leaves Jun to fight Heihachi, hoping to kill him for good this time. During the final battle of Tekken 2, Kazuya transforms into Devil, his final form, and in a twist of fate, Heihachi wins. This is because the good part of Kazuya's psyche, Angel, prevents Kazuya from reaching his true power. After the tournament is over, Heihachi throws Kazuya into a volcano, ending their feud, at least for now. Much like the first game, Tekken 2 contains a pretty wacky cast of characters. From aging martial artists, professional wrestlers, sumo, and even animals like Roger, Alex, and Lei Wulong, the game's character roster contains many fighting styles for you to use as you virtually beat up your friends. Many of the characters like Kazuya, Heihachi, Armor King, Nina, Law, etc. all return from the first game, but Tekken 2 includes some new characters too. The aforementioned Roger, Alex, and Lei, Angel, Baekdu-san, Bruce, Jun, and Jack 2 all enter the King of Iron Fist tournament for the first time. You start out with 10 characters and unlock more by completing arcade mode, so there is incentive to play the single player modes before you continue beating up your friends. Overall, the game contains 25 characters and they all play super differently from each other. Each character also has their own motivation for participating in the game's story. Baekdu-san, after having accidentally killed his father when he was younger, is being blackmailed by a mysterious figure to destroy Martial Law's martial arts school. Armor King is trying to convince Regular King to quit his alcoholism and get back in shape, hoping to have a rematch in the next tournament. Lei is a police officer who, after discovering that his work colleague was killed by some shady organizations that link back to Kazuya, decides to enter the tournament to battle against Mr. Mishima himself, and I could go on and on and on. One thing I appreciate about not just Tekken 2, but also older Tekken games in general, is that if you were a character who isn't a part of the Mishima family, you still had an interesting story. Even oddballs like Alex, who is literally a creature developed by Kazuya's research firm using a combination of dinosaur and kangaroo DNA for some reason, has a pretty interesting backstory. While the game itself is pretty lax on story content outside of the eternally hilarious CGI character endings, the game's instruction manual explained not only who a character was, but also their backstory and how they tied into the "we must fight to the death for the 78th time in a row for we are a product of hair gel and testosterone" story of the Mishima family. Look, diverse backstories are fantastic and all, but how do the characters actually play? Tekken 2, like the other games in the series, has 4 attack buttons. 1 and 2 are your punches and 3 and 4 are your kicks. You use these buttons in tandem with the joystick to perform moves and combos. Pressing 1 and 3 or 2 and 4 at once will perform grabs, and depending on your character, throws can do enormous damage. It sounds pretty simple, and well, that's because it is. Aside from Kazuya, Heihachi, and Yoshimitsu with his self-damage spin move, Tekken 2 doesn't have sidestepping, so it sort of plays like a 2D fighting game. Combos are also quite short, as the game has no combo extender tools like Tekken 6's Bound or Tekken 7's Screw system, so unlike that game, you don't have to wait for 50 years to play the game again after being launched. However, it isn't all perfect, as you definitely can tell that this game hasn't aged super well. It feels stiff and clunky by today's standards, and getting up off the ground after being knocked down takes forever. While the series hadn't quite found its stride yet, that would come with Tekken 3, Tekken 2 still feels better than the first game, as its animations are more fluid and expressive, and the addition of countless new moves goes a long way in making the game feel more engaging than Tekken 1. When it was all said and done, Tekken 2 was released to critical acclaim and strong sales. The game currently has an 89 on Metacritic, making it one of the best reviewed fighting games on the site. The reviews from outlets such as IGN, Game Informer, and Famitsu are all near perfect, proving that critics around the world all agreed that the game was amazing. Tekken 2 also topped arcade sales charts around the world, and was reported by Japanese outlet Game Machine that Tekken 2 was the highest grossing arcade game of September 1995, as well as being the most successful arcade game in all of 1996. But that was just for the arcades, because when the game was released for the PS1, it did even better. It sold millions and millions and millions of copies all around the world, earning roughly $43 million in the UK alone. Hell, even former UK football player David James credited the game along with Tomb Raider 2 as reasons behind his declining performance. Simply put, Tekken 2 was huge. Overall, while not as amazing as some of the future games in the Tekken series, Tag 2 My Beloved, Tekken 2 is still a pretty big step up from the first game in terms of quality. I'm sure many people were introduced to the series back in the day through this game, and for the 90s, yeah, it's pretty good. It hasn't aged amazingly well or anything like that, but I can imagine having fun playing this game and button mashing with friends in the arcade. Thanks for watching, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in the next one.